Buzzworthy Radio is on. The entertainment show that gets you up close and personal with today's hottest stars. Here's your host, Novell J. Lee.
Hey guys, it's Novell J. Lee and welcome into a new Buzzcast here at Buzzworthy Radio. It's been a little while since we had our last show, but we are back with a brand new one for you guys. Our guest today, you may not know him by the name, but you definitely may have seen him on plenty of television shows as well as certain films, and his face is just that recognizable. Kevin Breath was our guest, and we got to talk to him a little bit about his acting career, how he got into it, all the odd jobs that he did, which of course was bartending. I mean, that's the most common go-to when you get started in the acting business. And, of course, we had to talk to him about his Golden Girls appearance. I loved the fact that we were able to bring this up and talk about The Girls. That's one of my favorite sitcoms, so I probably was like beaming or like salivating or something. There was something going on when I brought that up, but it was pure joy. So it was wonderful to hear him talk about the four ladies, and you guys will now get to hear that as well. All that and more with Kevin Breath. Let's take a listen.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
You're in New Jersey, is that right?
I am in New Jersey.
What exit?
4. Exit 4.
I actually don't know it that well, but I know that's what you got to ask people in Jersey.
That is true. They do ask me that, and then they're surprised when I actually know what exit. So I'm like, yeah, I'm exit 4, and they're like, really, you know that? And I was like, yeah, I know that. I know where I live. Come on.
So my uncle lives he used to live in Edison.
Oh,
and now
okay.
he lives. I'm drawing a blank on where he lives now.
Edison is about. Oof. I'm putting myself on the spot here. I think that's about an hour to an hour and a half from me. So, yeah, not too bad.
He lives somewhere else now. But, oh well. No, I think he's in Edison now. He used to live in Union City. That's it, yeah. He does live in Edison.
Okay.
Half the year. He's a snowbird. He goes down to Florida.
Oh, he's one of those that once it gets cold.
He's one of those.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what your dad did, if I'm not mistaken.
Sort of. Well, but we never came back.
That is true. You did not come back.
It's the longest snowbird trip ever. Yeah.
Well, it worked out for your benefit. I mean,
no, it's Southern California's not a bad place to grow up.
No.
And at this point, not a bad place to stay, for that matter. Although I do love the city. So most people do, and all actors do.
Yes.
But I can't imagine living there and doing the actor grind there, to be honest, at this point in my career.
No, not at all. Not at all. And you know what's funny? When I was setting this interview up, and when Vonda told me about you, and she said the name, I was like, yeah, I know that name. And the first thing I said was, and I didn't tell her this, so if you hear this, I didn't tell you this, I'm sorry. But when she said the name, I was like, yeah, I know him. I watched him on the Golden Girls. It's fine.
Oh, really? You knew that? Awesome.
Yeah. You were on, and it was funny because when I first said it, I was like, oh my God, he was on the Golden Girls. He was on one of my favorite episodes, and it was, for those of you who don't know which episode I'm talking about that Kevin was in, it was called Journey to the Center of Attention. It was the episode where Blanche, was always the center of attention at the Rusty Anchor, and then all of a sudden Dorothy comes in, starts singing, and all the men want her in the bar, and and of course and Kevin had that undeniable line when Blanche walks in at the door, and you're like, Blanche, shut the door.
God, thank you. That's awesome. You remember that? Yeah, to work on that show was just so cool. It's like, at the time it was, maybe #1 show, or at least in the top 5. So that was cool. But to work with those four ladies, they're just great. And they really, they could not have been nicer.
Yes.
And it was fun because I think they had they really enjoyed that one as well because they got to sing. And both Rue and Bea, had Broadway chops from being in musicals and stuff. So it was a fun opportunity. The one funny, I don't know if it's a funny story, but from that shoot, Rue was feeling really sick the week we were shooting, and didn't feel confident enough in her voice to get up and do her numbers. So we waited another 2 weeks, and then they brought us all back to shoot just that scene with her singing, which was great because
Wow.
She got to sing better, and B, I got another week's work out of it. So, you know.
There it is. I think that's the point, right? I get to work a little longer.
Yeah. And the other thing I remember about that, Estelle Getty had that movie Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yes.
Alone, and it was opening that week that we were shooting, or like the next week, and I said, yeah, look, you excited about your movie? And she just kind of rolled her eyes. I think she thought it wasn't very good. But if anybody's a huge fan of that movie, I apologize. But so, I mean, she was sweet about it, but she was, yeah, it'll be interesting, or something I forget the exact words, but it was clear she was not going to be touting it as much as she probably wanted to when she first signed the contract to do it. And as I recall, it wasn't a great movie. It's a great title, though.
It was a great title, and and the sad part of it is I actually did watch that movie. But what can you say for a 7-year-old? But
oh yeah, I mean that was the demographic I think they were going for. You know,
yeah, I'm sure
Stallone was big with the 7-year-olds, but
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was, and I was just like, I enjoyed the movie, but again, what can I say? I was only a prepubescent child, so
you know what? I'm sure it was a fine movie, and she probably was just playing coy with me, and could not have been prouder of it. Probably her most cherished work of her career, I'm guessing. I'm just afraid I insulted every Stop or My Mom Will Shoot fan that's out there, so I apologize for that.
It's only probably two people. Yeah, it's only two people. It's okay.
That's right. We're on the same page there.
Yes, absolutely. I was one of the two, so it's fine. No offense taken. But it seems like you went. You start when you first, before you got into the acting career, you played football. You were into football in high school, and then all of a sudden you got hit with the acting bug, and then it just changed from, yeah, I don't want to play football anymore and have people tackle and triple all over me anymore. Let me do stage work.
Yeah, essentially, I mean, I was on the high school football team, as you know, and I was would have been my JV year. And we had to do summer school football to be on the team, and you had to take a second class to do summer school. So you couldn't take one class, and so I took this drama class. And by the end of the summer, I was like, "Yeah, I think I'd much rather do this than that." And I picked good timing because there's something called Hell Week when you're in football training, at football camp. And it's like these 2-a-day things. You have to get there at 6 in the morning and come back at 3 in the afternoon. And I quit the first day of that, so it was a double blessing. I became an actor, and I didn't have to go through that week. And it's just, you know, I mean, football. I love watching it. And I used to. My joke was when I was a kid, like when I was in maybe 12, 11, 13. I had a really good arm as a quarterback, like surprisingly good for that age. And then by the time I got to be 16, I had a really good arm for a 13-year-old. It just never got better. So
okay.
So I started like, I'm going to be a quarterback, and then by the end of it, I got a little bulkier. And by the end of it, I was playing guard. Excuse me, and you know, in the trenches, which wasn't that fun. And plus, you know, people yell at you a lot when you're in practice. And they
That's what coaches do.
You don't yell that much when you're rehearsing a play. So I just enjoyed it. I mean, it's something really clicked. It was clear to me that that's where I wanted to put my extracurricular time in high school. But I went to the games and I cheered for the Wilson High Bruins, Long Beach Wilson. So that was my football career is very short-lived. but I follow it. I do enjoy watching both college and the NFL.
Do you like college more than NFL, or because
I was always NFL, and then my wife is an Ohio State grad, and as you may know, the Buckeyes are a huge deal.
Huge.
So I started watching with her, and I saw sides of my wife I didn't know existed when we were watching an Ohio State-Michigan game, because the rivalry there runs. It's all in fun, but it runs pretty deep. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and slowly I started liking the college game quite a bit, and almost a little better than the NFL sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I like both. They're quite different, obviously, but also quite the same. And so I used to not watch any college football, and now I'll flick on a game. Usually, I have to know the teams, or they have to be like somebody that's in the running for something. I don't really sit down and watch any game that's on. And when I live in Los Angeles, where we didn't have a professional team for years until next year, the Rams are coming back. So we had no in-market teams. This is getting really inside baseball, or inside football, sorry. So we got to see all the games. We were never blocked out from anything. So we got a lot more choices. That's not going to happen as much next year.
I don't,
yeah.
No,
but that's
not.
okay. I'll live a very full life without a full schedule of football to watch, so.
And of course, you live that. And speaking of living the life, you live that actor life. When you start off in acting, you bartended, you did all of that, good stuff. You know, I could not do it because I would be that guy that would drop the glass on the floor. I could not. I honestly would be that guy that would not know how to serve beer to any patron whatsoever, and I would have no tips. I am that guy. And I have no shame in admitting that I am that guy. So.
Well, I'm kind of notorious for spilling things in my life. You know, people, that's like a running joke about me. But when I was working, I didn't seem to do it that much. And I could actually carry a tray full of glasses on my fingertips, and I don't know if I could do it now, though, to be honest. But I actually like bartending quite a bit. It's of all the day jobs, kind of things, whatever, Joe jobs, whatever you call it, outside of my career acting-wise, that would be the one I would, if I needed to, I could go back and do that. I don't think, I'm not cut out for closing a club at 3 in the morning anymore. And I waited tables too, and no offense to waiters out there, but I'm not sure I ever want to wait another table because
that frightens me.
Bartending's much more fun.
That would frighten me even more so than anything. And I play. This is the best way to describe it. Jenga. That would be me. Waiting tables like that. That would be what I would do. And I literally did not play Jenga last night with the rest of my friends because of the fact that I was like, I would be that guy that it would be over by the time I pick out the peg. So
I might give you a run for your money on how bad you are at Jenga. I don't think I'm kind of the same guy, but that, I think that's a good. We just might have a good idea for a theme restaurant, like a Jenga restaurant where
a Jenga restaurant.
Stuff just falls on your whatever happens to be there falls on your table. You have to
on
eat
your
it.
plate, and then you have to eat it.
And if you like it, you yell Jenga. If you don't, you yell something else. I don't know. Anyway, let's work on that. I think I can get some backers for it. That's a fantastic idea.
Ooh, yeah. We'll
everything's served in like towers. And then you have to pull out what you want from the middle of the tower.
You got to pull out what you want, and if it doesn't fall, then you you might be onto something, and we got to get in touch with some people.
We shouldn't talk about it anymore because, people might steal this idea.
I think they will.
It's fantastic. They're going to run with it.
Anyway.
I'm actually surprisingly coordinated and then surprisingly clumsy at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
that does make sense because I think I'm the same person. I really am. I'm coordinatedly clumsy. That's really how my life is.
Nice.
No way. I mean, it's really how I live, and I'm just like, wow, I am really dense, but I coordinate it in such a way where you laugh, but you're like, you do it in such a way where it's also awesome. So,
well, obviously, we both need therapy, both physical and mental, I think, just to get through this. Clumsy thing we got.
Mental than physical. That's more mental on my side of the spectrum, but that's okay.
Yeah. And how do you feel about that?
That's a conversation that we can have while I'm lying on the couch. Hey, that might be another thing. I don't know if you played a psychiatrist in your time. You might be able to do that.
I have, actually.
I kind of figured you did. Out of all the roles that you've had on television, I wouldn't have been shocked if you told me you were a psychiatrist in one of those roles.
I'm trying to think. I played a psychiatrist in a commercial, actually. And I'm trying to remember I don't know if I've ever played one for a TV show, but I've done it for a commercial of all things. Yeah. But anyway, that's not that exciting to hear, but there you go.
What genre do you prefer the most when you do these gigs? Because I mean, honestly, I think comedy, as much as people say how hard it is to do, it's still the most fun to do.
Yeah, I've been blessed to really kind of work a lot in